Hello, good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present. Our top stories in the news tonight. A NEGA-NEGA woman claims the police advised her against pursuing a child defilement case. SOLWEZI man dies after drinking a sex enhancement concoction. The opposition Citizens First Party criticizes President Hakainde Hichilema over foreign trips. In international news, rights groups say M23 killed, raped civilians in the DRC. And in sports news, City suffer injury time defeat despite brilliant FODEN strike.
In our quest to save nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farm.
Join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Professor Munkumba.
Because then there was a transformation from the command economy to the free markets, and it was sweeping across the world, and everybody was swept along.
And Mr. Smata.
The decisions they make, the time they take to make those decisions affects the economy.
This Monday, 14th November 2022, on National Matters. Topic of discussion: the role of banks in a developing nation.
Hello again, another news in detail. The onset of the rainy season has presented worries to the residents of Lusaka's Chawama constituency, who are concerned over the perennial flash floods due to inadequate drainages. Chawama is among communities in Lusaka that are prone to floods, with Misisi and Kuku compounds being the worst affected. The residents in John Howard are saddened that the plea for a proper drainage network was not attended to. Here's a report.
It is that time of the year when the people of Lusaka get to witness flash floods, and in Lusaka they call it the annual exhibition of failed engineering projects, as the construction of drainages in most compounds in Zambia's capital city lead to more questions than answers. This is because the problem of drainages has been a perennial challenge which successive governments have failed to resolve. The onset of the rainy season presents worries to the people of Lusaka's Chawama compound, who are not happy that the rainy season has begun, yet drainages remain unattended to, thus questioning the utilization of the Constituency Development Fund, CDF.
Kuno drainage here tikambapo every year pangani ya drainages sionapo change iliyonse. Kulibe panaona tuzapo kuti wasevenzesapo so kulibe, because even last time inena kambako kuti maybe ndalama ya CDF yatu yamene ya Chawama kapena watipangireko mochari, but namulire kuli quiet.
Yamensha ya last time kan at least ba kukustamana kan ma drainage kuimbamo.
Motorists say it is difficult to navigate the area during the rainy season, as this driver cited the dam which was serving as a drainage that is now being used as a dump site as a reason for flooding in the area.
MP watu azivanga chite munga kumadrainage akoda apa pamangala bad wale vetima tilipa load bana tumapeleka tati load tistiona tungena mdrainage bali ndebe tingapindele veninga kambeko isoma kwera ngala bali kutali kanga mapezi katika imira mweta imira pano so swanga wochoka okusanga bwere bweko wochoka okusanga bwere bwokwera
Others say the dam must be buried as it has claimed the lives of many people.
So, chiri bwino. Kamba benzo pairapo bantu maningi bakamwa kwa mene kuja kupatuka, bene bake bakakangana kwa mene kuja, wakamumenya muntu baona kuti bamupaya, enzo peze kakuti ali muchidamu. So ichi chidamu tipempa boma, ititandizire kuti chivaliwe. Then bakapitisepo na pipe manje yakutika, yambe opeleka manzi kwa mene yaenda kuja kukuomboka. Chebe kuvari wachiene kila chivaliwe. Chenzoleta maningi ngozi, maningi bantu kupai wabasikana na ngubana bangono. Ukamukalipira munyumba, abweda ati naendo zita mchidamu. Chebe chifunika chivaliwe, boma na ebe ititandizire, kuja kuchunga nga kunazula. Please, tipempa, wambioleta kuno.
Meanwhile, recent interactions with the local leaders revealed that most of the resources went towards upgrading the Chawama Secondary School, and there was assurance of attending to drainages. But with the onset of the rain season, people of this locality have to endure the hardship. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
A 32-year-old mother of Chief Nalwama village in NEGA-NEGA, Mazabuka district of Southern Province has narrated how police officers advised her not to pursue her 17-year-old daughter's alleged defilement case because she will lack support from the man responsible. In an interview with Camnet TV, the distressed mother says she was left with no option but to drop the case after the people she thought were mandated to deal with criminal too. The Zambia Police Service reported that in the third quarter of 2022, 2,101 child victims were abused countrywide. More in this report.
This woman's firstborn daughter was among those who made up the number of children defiled in the annual police criminal report 2021. Her daughter was allegedly defiled by a 23-year-old man who mocks her of not having the powers to report the matter to the relevant authorities. She had first reported the matter at NEGA-NEGA police station in Mazabuka district, which was recently gutted. However, officers at that time advised her not to pursue the case further because the alleged perpetrator would help in providing things needed for the unborn child.
Police before mechanical police marabwa police aisho.
So ngakali apamani ni chancha mungu wafune china chiti.
Kuna bokuja mamuna ni police wa mumani ankaleko na nzuri. Ndaba kama yo kama na eve ona maparents yake. Nilibi. Nikabaitana kuti nkale pamozi tindelani or support yabe kumwana kazinta ndizira sababu so ni chiteshe kama tinga nitsikuti nkale pansi chendeche kula mula mwetone sechifuoti tabonzi kaivoshi tabonga ine nasoka.
The victim was 16 years old at the time the alleged incident occurred and now has just turned 17 years old and has a 2-month-old baby. She regrets what happened to her, however hopes to return back to school through the re-entry policy. I feel like my future has been destroyed after being impregnated by a 23-year-old man. I want to go back to school. The man who impregnated me has 4 other wives. Life in the village is hard, but I hope to better my future. Child defilement cases have been on the rise in the recent years. The Zambia Police Service reported that in the third quarter of 2022, 2,101 children were abused countrywide, representing 23.9%. Out of the above-mentioned, 1,650 were girls, representing 78.1%, while 461 were boys, representing 21.9%. This 32-year-old mother who lives in Nalwama village, located in Mazabuka district, Southern Province, can only hope for one thing: for justice to prevail in the matter and a child to go back to school. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Pupils at the Saheli Day Secondary School have complained over the lack of desks, hence calling on the authorities to intervene. The pupils say most of them have to stand while learning, a situation they described as unfortunate. They explained that owing to the poor state of classrooms and desks, learning is difficult, thus reflecting in the poor pass rate during final examinations. Here's a report.
The United Party for National Development Administration is implementing the free education policy, which has come with its own challenges, including limited access to classrooms and desks. But President Hakainde Hichilema has been of the view that the problem presents an opportunity to construct more classrooms and purchasing of desks under the Constituency Development Fund (CDF). Some schools have started making progress in line with the policy direction, but certainly not in Luwingu district in the Lubansenshi constituency at Saheli Day Secondary School, where pupils struggle to learn. This grade 11 pupil explains that it becomes even more complicated during the rainy season as the classrooms have no windows.
Whilst we are about 49, if I can remember, we are 49, and these are the days we share. So, if the government can help us, we can appreciate the area. And we are expecting to suffer the coming rain season, as you can see. No windows, doors, and when rain comes, we are expecting them to enter using this side or that side.
And this is a classroom for grade 12 pupils. Apart from the limitation of the classroom block, they lament over the limited access to desks.
So here is a grade 12 class. We are 42, and if you can see, the class is very small. I don't know if you have to even manage to like can even to have close body also when the teacher is teaching. That's the reason why, even if you can see, I'm at desk. So I'm at in my apple, a pupil, he needed to stand while he's lighting because in Shama chairs now. The tables are already broken, our windows are only so the most thing for tricks up a request from the government. Class was in grade 12. That's the reason why I can say even know the employees of my part.
Meanwhile, social scientist Innocent Kolala has advised constituency development committees to be prioritizing the issue of desks in order to promote quality education.
I am appealing to the constituency development committees. I am appealing to the ward development committees, and I am appealing even to all the leadership who are charged to ensure that this constituency development fund works to the best interest of the Zambian people who elected us. These people, they elected this leadership who are in the office to ensure that some of these challenges are sorted out.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
A 45-year-old man of Solwezi has died after he concocted his drink with herbs to help boost his libido. Brief facts are that on the material date, Julius Kapole, in the presence of his woman, Mr. Hamonga, said an inquiry file surrounding his death has been opened and investigations are ongoing.
Police in Solwezi have recorded a report of sudden death which occurred between 10th November around 22 hours and 11th November 2022 around 1:30 hours in Mitukutuku area in Solwezi. The matter was reported on the 11th of November around 08 hours by female Yvonne Mukupa, age 58, of Kandemba area in Solwezi, that her young brother Julius Kapole, aged 45, died in his house after voluntarily drinking a self-made male concoction in order to boost his libido. Brief facts are that on the material date, the deceased, in the presence of his woman friend Agnes Kachaka and his friend Mayor Joseph Kimvula, drank the said concoction that he himself prepared. Later he developed stomach pains. He went to the toilet where he became very weak. Efforts to resuscitate him failed and he died. The police visited the scene where a 2.5 liters of the suspected poison, from which it said he drank, was recovered for further investigations. The body has been deposited in Solwezi General Hospital mortuary awaiting postmortem. An inquiry file has been opened and investigations are ongoing.
The ruling United Party for National Development, UPND Lusaka Youth Provincial Chairperson Anderson Banda has urged citizens who might encounter themselves in confrontations with cadres in public places to report the matter to the relevant authorities. Mr. Banda says no political cadre, regardless of their political affiliation, is allowed to harass people or try to intimidate them in markets and bus stations. He adds that the policy direction taken by the UPND administration is very clear and the law will apply to anyone found wanting regardless of one's political affiliation.
I'm sure the policy direction that the New Dawn government has taken, including our head of state, His Excellency the President Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, is very clear. Speaking for myself as a UPND cadre, senior cadre, even the time we were in opposition, we were explained too that when we get into power, there will be no youth who aimlessly mingle around, maringa around in public places such as markets and bus stations. And in short, we were told that there will be no cadreism. So to all youths of UPND, I think we understood that and we supported that. We even preached about it when we were campaigning. And Zambian people were convinced, and that's why they put us in power as UPND party. And of course, these elements or some signs that cadres are still there in the markets, I'm sure the message is very clear, as again to the law enforcers, such as the police. They should move in and arrest those people without looking at their face, without asking them a simple question of which party do you belong to. I think that is compromise. They should look at the law. They should look at the policy direction that the New Dawn government has chosen to take of no cadreism in the markets, no cadreism in the public places such as bus stations. So to me, I would want to urge the public found in these places as traders, as bus drivers, and as passengers to report anything to do with cadreism.
Citizen First Party spokesperson Mwanawina Kwibisa says President Hakainde Hichilema and the United Party for National Development should not get agitated when questioned about the increased presidential international trips. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Kwibisa says the presidential trips come at a huge cost to the national treasury, adding that when in opposition, President Hichilema promised to cut down on foreign trips in order to save resources, but he is doing the exact opposite. Meanwhile, UPND Deputy National Youth Spokesperson Phineas Pumulo says people should go easy on condemning foreign trips as they help forge international relations and economic benefits. More in this report.
After winning the 12 August 2021 general elections, Zambia's Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has made several international trips, which has seen many criticized. Although the travels are deemed a priority by the presidents, many have argued that the president could be sending few representatives to some of the events, thus cutting costs and having more time to attend to important issues in the country. Citizen First Party also wonders why the government would grant two private entities to audit the country's defense force. On Friday in Parliament, the country's Vice President Mutalina Lumango defended the award of contracts to Grant Thornton Zambia and PricewaterhouseCoopers to audit the Zambia Defense Force, adding that the necessary procedure was followed in the awarding of the contract to the said two companies. However, many feels the move was not properly taken.
Mailo na mailo, chiwamila galu, you were one saying trips. Unless you do not receive an invitation, and you're even leaving the young man. I don't know why we're paying him. Spokesperson Nashal, you are the one spokesperson because you are the marketing manager, but you are going with people we have seen you at with corporates. But the person that should be your mouthpiece, because when you speak, it becomes policy. Government is a machine that can be checked and will never be moved. There are systems and processes. Whatever you do, your trips, you are condemning. Contracts, you are now awarding. You want some chap from somewhere else to know how many bullets we have. No, that's a no.
Meanwhile, the United Party for National Development says the international trips made by the president are not for pleasure, but aimed at greater benefit for the country and taken out of necessity.
President Hakainde Hichilema is the chief marketing manager for this country, Zambia. So don't expect President Hakainde Hichilema to be dormant at State House. Those trips that President Hakainde Hichilema is making, they are very beneficial to the country. Just the past trip that President Hakainde Hichilema made, where they went to COPs 27, you don't expect the summit of head of states for the president to send the representative. It's not in order. These trips that we are seeing that President Hakainde Hichilema is making, he is trying to make sure that he brings in real investors in our country. Like previous, we saw how our former head of state, Dr. Edgar Chagwalum, he used to move with the huge entourage, even staying more days than necessary. But we have seen our current president, even his movements. In most cases, you find that when he goes to Congo, he will do the go-come trip.
The party also defends government's position that the right procedure was followed in the awarding of the contract to the said companies. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
National Democratic Congress NDC faction leader George Sichula has charged that the United Party for National Development Alliance remains strong and committed to liberating the people of Zambia from the economic, social and political challenges. He says President Hakainde Hichilema has demonstrated that he is capable of taking Zambia to greater heights in fostering development. Mr. Sichula tells Camnet News that his party will continue being part of the alliance. In an interview, Mr. Sichula says NDC will continue pledging its support to the UPND, and so far the current administration is walking the talk.
Okay, actually I want to say that we are still in this alliance, and this alliance is there to stay. Like I always put it, that this alliance is a people alliance. It's not an alliance for the UPND. And for us in the NDC, we continue to support this alliance until time comes when the Zambian people maybe say it is time maybe for NDC to give it a try. But for now, I want to say that we are into this alliance to support our colleagues, the UPND, and also we are very happy as NDC that the government which is in there now, the president who is there, is what the Zambian people wanted. And it will be unreasonable for us to begin to criticize now when they are doing a right thing. Like I can cite one example. In the campaign, there was a promise of free education, which they have implemented, job creation, and quite a number of things are happening. And us from the side of NDC, we are very happy that at least they are doing it as per the promise. So it will be unreasonable for us to enter into unreasonable criticisms towards what our colleagues are doing.
The opposition leadership movement has called on the United Party for National Development, UPND administration, to create business opportunities for all Zambians, not just a privileged few with government connections. Party President Dr. Richard Silumbe says his party supports every effort being directed towards enhancing the participation of Zambians in economic affairs. He says the equal distribution of wealth is critical for uplifting the lives of Zambians in key sectors such as tourism and mining. The opposition leader points out that only when Zambians effectively participate in vital sectors of the economy can there be meaningful development in the country.
As a stake in this nation can participate in any business, I think there is no problem with that. As long as we have Zambians are participating in any business, it doesn't matter. Business with the government doesn't matter, because we want to support the Zambian entrepreneurs, want to support the Zambian businesses. We want to support our local team because local is laka. So we don't have so much issues with Zambians being given businesses and participating, regardless of how the situation is, except we want also a fair share of Zambians, a fair share in the business. We don't want a few people in government to take over all the shares in terms of our business. So that is where we stand as leadership movement.
Moneygrow Cooperative has noted with concern about the unscrupulous people who are trying to dupe people using the name of the cooperative. Addressing journalists Saturday, Moneygrow National Chairman Mauden Shula says the cooperative is alive to the fact that people take advantage of unsuspecting citizens, hence coming up with modalities that will curtail such activities and protect the members. Mr. Shula has revealed that Moneygrow now has a call center to cater for all 11,000 members who need protection from cyber crimes. He says the cooperative has also created an application that will help enhance transparency and accountability by encouraging cashless transactions. Moneygrow Cooperative, turning 2 years in a few months, has seen an increase in people wanting to acquire motor vehicles, adding that the cooperative has engaged car dealers to secure the needs of the clients. Mr. Shula has since advised those on the list to get their car loans to exercise patience as the process is being done carefully.
A number of people we've come to learn have been duped. The unfortunate part is because these people do not even understand what Moneygrow is all about. They do not understand what Moneygrow is doing. They are even failing to explain what goes on in Moneygrow or at Moneygrow. So we are putting out this communique to the public to say Moneygrow has got a call center. We are an organization that is quite organized in the way we operate. We've got 6 offices. But to organize and be able to communicate to our membership, we decided to create a call center where we have 10 officers that are attending to our nationwide membership. Is in the pilot phase. We are just about to complete, let me say we have completed the pilot phase where we have tested the Moneygrow app, and the Moneygrow app is supposed to curtail further any opportunity, any room for fraudulent activities, because the Moneygrow app ensures that funds that are transacted between Moneygrow and our members go straight into the Moneygrow account. With the Moneygrow app, there will be nothing like send money to Jack Mulenga, who is pretending to be a Moneygrow officer. There will be nothing like send money to my Airtel money.
You're watching Camnet TV and not just another channel. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more in our main news.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana. Vanga kubunkire ni dad.
Don't worry, my dear. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Cabbages, onions, maize, potatoes, tomatoes, chilies. At Raingrow, we supply great quality irrigation for the mentioned crops and more at an affordable price. Get our 2,000 meter flat drip for as low as 2,900 kwacha.
or our 500-meter round hose for 1,300 kwacha. Customize your own spacing with our 500-meter blank round hose going for 1,200 kwacha, ideal for orchards such as avocado, mango, banana, oranges, etc. Rain Glow Irrigation, best quality, best price.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Residents of Kimasala compound have appealed to government to provide clean and safe drinking water in the area. A resident, Sombo Chioka, is concerned that the Northwestern Water and Sanitation Company is not adequately serving them, hence ending up drawing water from shallow wells. And Martin Chipoya tells Camnet News that the residents share water with animals, especially dogs, adding that the area has been prone to waterborne diseases such as diarrhea owing to drinking dirty water. They have since called on government to put up a borehole. Here's a report.
This is Kimasala compound in SOLWEZI district of Northwestern Province. One of the pressing challenges is access to clean and safe drinking water. According to the National Water Supply and Sanitation Council NWASCO, urban and peri-urban water supply and sanitation sector report, in terms of service coverage, Northwestern Water Supply and Sanitation Company is rated among the best at 98.1% and 79.0% in terms of sanitation coverage. Despite making progress, more needs to be done by accommodating the people of Kimasala who have difficulties accessing the commodity. Others say they have to share the water with animals, thus calling on the government to put up a borehole.
Bantu bavura ni bakawa beno kupitanga na bufuku baye bapitamo batomamo rukero bantu twafikamo ke tutomemo tuno kuvwangakana mema na abanyama kutomena pamo so tuno kwijishanganya okafurumende namba itutarepo itupangire ko kintu kya kubona ngo mabo mu press ke tutomeko mema ato kaburongo no be bantu bena Zambia bakasuruka
Andochi tunakiboko beketuretere po pipe ya mema tunatuma mema andochi mushimo aikere tukaro tukukwe boko baonse bana opita ne bakonye ne batunturu bamoma na kuba urumendo nge wapendo safika tu watu ejemo bimaboko ne ndochi na ofumana inakuyana mwerense na opone tumuna nga mushimo musa mema tunatuma andochi tunatuma kuno kipanda
aho mushimo jikujishinda mkwako kwa tama tunakutuma tumema andochi ketu yukane bufuku bantu bena kupita abavura ketu awukane bamwe bashipiramo bamwe basikwiramo ketu awukane tunotuma tumema ndochi kepeka repa kujikane so tunoromba kunamba betu poire kubo.
Meanwhile, the Northwestern Water Supply and Sanitation Company informed Camnet News that it is aware of the erratic and intermittent water supply to some selected areas, but outlined its commitment to resolve the problem under its short and long-term objectives.
We have had a big challenge in other areas like Weybridge and Kimale, where we have now embarked on a project of interlinking the water system. We are currently working on laying a new line that should boost up pressure to Weybridge, and this will improve water supply generally in the district.
But what is the position of the regulator? Mr. Peter Mutare is the National Water Supply and Sanitation Council NWASCO Chief Inspector.
This is the SOLWEZI River. At the moment, if you go along SOLWEZI River, you see how the area has been encroached upon. So you find that a commercial utility, the water that you're abstracting from there is almost mud. Now, for you to treat water which is highly polluted, you really have to take your time, because your plant was not meant to treat such kind of quality. So you start now producing little water, because if you want to produce in bulk the way you used to do it, it means that you send water that is not fully treated. So that has become a problem. I think the encroachment around the raw water source where the company abstracts water from is major. These are issues that we are discussing also with WAMA, because they are in charge of water resources management, to see how they can help the commercial utility. If we are to put up maybe a dam there, how can we ensure that that dam is protected?
If Zambia is to achieve Sustainable Development Goal number 6, which seeks to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all, then challenges like those facing the people of Kimasala must be addressed. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Zambia Sugar Company Managing Director Oswald Magwenzi has taken pride in the achievements that the company has made in boosting climate resilience among smallholder sugarcane farming communities of Mazabuka. He observes that the company has been supporting the establishment of irrigation and drainage facilities in 3 smallholder farming organizations, namely Kalea, Magobo and Manyonyo, which are now capable of maintaining high sugarcane yields even in periods of drought. Speaking in an International Finance Corporation IFC climate resilience discussion monitored Saturday afternoon, Mr. Magwenzi highlighted that the 3 organizations were capable of producing 83% of normal sugarcane yield in the 2015-2016 season despite experiencing severe droughts. He adds that the organizations went on to produce 87% of normal yields in the severely dry 2018 and 2019 farming season, which is a clear demonstration of climate resilience resulting from the sugar giant's investment. Mr. Magwenzi challenges other public and private sector players to scale up investments in irrigation and drainage facilities to boost climate resilience in smallholder farming communities. He says there is still room for investment in the sector, adding that companies such as Zambia Sugar are eager to partner with other companies in a bid to create thriving African communities. The Commuter Rights Association has observed that the coming of car-hailing services has helped to bring some sanity to the public transport sector. Association Chairman Aaron Kamuti notes that there has been a lot of commuter exploitation, such as overcharging clients, especially among pirate taxi operators in the country. He says taxi hailing services have equally provided stiff competition to public service vehicle operators. Mr. Kamuti has hailed Yango for expanding its operations into some parts of the Copperbelt province, saying the move will benefit commuters in that region due to affordability and convenience. The taxi hailing service provider recently launched its operations in Ndola and Kitwe as part of its growth strategy outside Lusaka.
We want to appeal to the Kitwe residents, the commuters there in Kitwe, to take advantage of this. Test the quality of relationship you have with the Yango, with even the drivers. The drivers are so jovial. A number of them have used this transportation where they will accommodate you nicely, and you see what you are paying for. Like I've alluded that whatever you are taking, the destination you are going to, if you hire a Yango taxi, you pay the amount which is affordable. So going forward, I think we need to also to see the improvement in the public passenger buses, where maybe in future we can even have buses which are time buses, not what we are going through, where it's been very difficult for commuters to appreciate the kind of transport we have, even maybe trains. So I think, like I've alluded in my preamble, that this is timely. There can never be a better time than now. What you've seen with Yango and the fares which are being charged to the passengers, I think this is good. It's a true reflection of a better public transport service.
You're still watching Camnet Television News. We'll take our second break. We'll be back with the international sports news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Professor Monkumba.
Because then there was a transformation from the command economy to the free markets, and it was sweeping across the world, and everybody was swept along.
And Mr. Smata.
The decisions they make, the time they take to make those decisions affects the economy.
This Monday, 14th November 2022, on National Matters, topic of discussion, the role of banks in a developing nation.
Welcome back. And now in international news, the Democratic Republic of Congo's army says it is attacking positions of the M23 armed group in the east near the border with Rwanda. M23 is widely understood to be a proxy of Rwanda, although Rwanda denies it. Rights groups and people who fled say M23 rebels have executed, raped and tortured civilians in the areas it controls. Meanwhile, gold is one of Sudan's key sources of revenue. But along the banks of the river now, residents are saying the toxic waste from mining operations is ruining their harvests and killing their livestock. Here's a roundup of international news.
Gloria, not her real name, says she was pregnant when she was gang raped by fighters from the M23 rebel group earlier this year. M23 is fighting government forces here in the east of Democratic Republic of Congo. It's widely understood to be a proxy of neighbouring Rwanda, although Rwanda denies it. Gloria says M23 fighters came into the bar she ran, started drinking beer and smashing bottles.
3 men raped me before I fell unconscious. There was nobody to help me. When I woke up, I was in hospital. My neighbor had rescued me. I don't know what they used because I was badly torn and my bladder was leaking.
Gloria's baby died before she gave birth and was surgically removed. Now she's joined the nearly 200,000 people who've fled their homes. The conditions in the camps are bad. There isn't enough food or clean water, and the shelters don't keep out the rain. And while Congo's army and most of its armed groups are accused of widespread rights abuses, the fact that tens of thousands of people have chosen to come here, leaving behind their homes and their farms, gives some indication of just how scared they are of M23. Rwanda's army and the armed groups it supported have been accused of carrying out massacres and rights abuses in eastern Congo since the 1990s. It's always denied the allegations. Rwandan soldiers were photographed with M23 fighters 5 months ago. We asked M23 about reports of rights abuses. Its spokesman sent this video clip denying all the allegations made in this story.
Who are these people? There are so many people who are extremists. They are talking nonsense to destroy us. They are working with the government.
When Congo's army defeated M23 9 years ago, we filmed the bodies of prisoners tied up and shot dead in the bases they'd fled. Some of the prisoners appeared to have been kept in pits in the ground, which is what this man says M23 did to him earlier this year. He says M23 fighters accused him of supporting enemy militia and beat him for 3 days, demanding a confession. Then he says he was tied up and thrown in a pit with other prisoners for 3 weeks before being released. His wife thought he was dead.
You can lean on one way or the other, but you cannot lie down and rest. When it rains, the water comes in. We were looking like pigs because of the mud in the pit. Once a day, the guard unties one arm and takes the 2 or 3 prisoners to the toilet. This is the life we suffered.
This school classroom is home for now. Outside, others are sleeping in shelters made on broken rocks. The struggle for control of minerals below the ground has made eastern Congo the centre of regional conflicts and rights abuses for decades. People here wonder if they'll ever be left in peace.
Mohammed Farah has been a farmer for most of his life. The sale of dates from these palm trees have helped him put food on the table, but not anymore. He says in the past few years, his harvest has been decreasing.
This year there isn't a single date fruit on the trees, and the year before there was very little. This all started when the gold mining company started operating here. Shortly after they came, we started to notice the changes in the trees and the harvests.
Abu Hamad is known for its reserve of gold, Sudan's main source of hard currency. Artisanal miners and companies use mercury and cyanide to separate the mineral from its ore, and farmers say the wastes from the products used to extract the precious mineral have affected crops here. This is the stream that waters thousands of hectares of farmland here in Abu Hamad. Several mining companies are around this area. Residents blame the mercury and cyanide used to extract gold for not only the changes in farmland, but other changes too. The stream is also a water source for herders and their livestock. Muhammad Ahmed says drinking from it has affected his sheep's health.
They have tumours. Some are born with mutations. Some die. This all started happening after the companies arrived. I've lost so many sheep, and they are my source of income. How can someone buy them from me when they're sick?
Local authorities say steps will be taken to ensure waste materials from the companies do not affect those living in Abu Hamad further.
We've sent teams and investigated the environmental impact of the companies. Based on the findings, all the companies near populated areas were asked to move to a safe distance where we believe the operations will not have an impact on the residents. There were mistakes made in mining operations. Waste was not treated properly, but we will try to fix what has been damaged.
But for those like Muhammad Farah, it's too late, and he says it could be a long time before his farm is profitable again.
It's now time for sports news. In the English Premier League, Ivan Toney responded to being overlooked for England's World Cup squad by delivering a match-winning 2-goal performance in Brentford's thoroughly deserved Premier League win at Manchester City. Toney missed out on a place in Qatar but demonstrated his vital importance to Brentford with an outstanding all-round display that left the reigning Premier League champions stunned as the Bees took all 3 points with a 98th minute winner. It was fully merited for Brentford's positive approach as they refused to take a backward step from the first whistle, even after Manchester City's Phil Foden restored equality with a crisp left-foot half-volley seconds before the interval. City inevitably turned up the tempo after the break, Ilkay Gundogan missing a glorious chance to put them ahead, but Brentford were a constant threat on the break, with Ederson twice having to serve from the ever-dangerous Toney. And it was a fitting conclusion to that added period of 10 minutes, mainly for a head injury to Aymeric Laporte, when Brentford caught City on the break for Toney to sweep home Josh Da Silva's cross, the striker almost completing a hat-trick seconds later, only for Kevin De Bruyne to clear off the line. That sporting story brings us to the end of our news tonight. But before we go, the headlines once again. NEGA-NEGA woman claims the police advised her against pursuing a child defilement case. SOLWEZI man denies, read that again, SOLWEZI man dies after drinking a sex enhancement concoction. The opposition Citizens First Party criticizes President Hakainde Hichilema over foreign trips. In international news, rights groups say M23 killed, raped civilians in the DRC. And in sports news, City suffer injury time defeat despite brilliant Foden strike. Our comment verse of the day is coming from Philippians 4, verse 6 to 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Thank you once again for watching the news. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Good night.